let's explore some public figures who had the most meteoric falls from grace. And make sure you stick around till the end so you don't miss the person who reached the lowest of lows. But we'll start with someone who's likely a close second, and that's Michael Jackson. Often hailed as the king of pop, he began his journey to fame as a child in the Jackson 5, where his exceptional talent as the lead singer quickly earned him recognition. His solo career skyrocketed in the 1980s with groundbreaking albums like Thriller, which remains the best-selling album of all time. Jackson's innovative music videos, unique dancing style, and timeless hits made him a global icon. His fame transcended music, and he became a cultural phenomenon, changing the very concept of what a celebrity is. However, by the mid-1990s, Jackson's image began to unravel, with the first major blow coming in 1993 when he was accused of inappropriate behavior with one of his young fans. Though the case was settled out of court, the allegations cast a shadow over his reputation, and over the next decade, his personal struggles deepened. His physical appearance altered dramatically due to numerous surgeries, and his behavior grew increasingly eccentric. In 2005, he faced a high-profile trial over similar accusations, and despite being acquitted, his once untouchable status was forever tarnished. He became a target of mockery in the public eye, relentlessly ridiculed in music videos, movies, stand-up specials, and TV shows. His mounting financial troubles and addiction to pain medication following an accident on the set of a Pepsi commercial, and his erratic public persona, compounded by legal controversies, led to his gradual but epic fall from grace, a decline that continued even long after his passing in 2009. Jim and Tammy Faye Bakker. The Bakkers' rise to fame began in the 1970s with the creation of the PTL Club, a Christian television ministry that quickly attracted millions of viewers with its unique mix of faith, entertainment, and emotional appeals. Their ministry rapidly grew into a multi-million-dollar empire, and they became icons in the Christian televangelist world. With the support of their followers, they funded a lavish lifestyle, including mansions, private jets, and the construction of Heritage USA, a luxury theme park and resort. However, their meteoric rise was followed by an equally dramatic fall. In 1987, Jim Bakker became embroiled in a scandal after being accused of misconduct with church secretary Jessica Hahn. Shortly after, a federal investigation uncovered massive financial fraud within their ministry, revealing that millions of dollars donated by followers intended for charitable purposes and religious programming had been misused or funneled into the Bakkers' personal expenses. One of the most egregious examples of the misuse being the development of Heritage USA. The Bakkers also sold lifetime memberships to the resort, promising exclusive benefits they knew they couldn't deliver. And Jim used a large portion of the funds to pay off Jessica Hahn and keep her quiet about his misconduct towards her. In 1989, Jim was convicted of fraud and conspiracy, leading to a 45-year prison sentence, though he only served 5. When all was said and done, both his and Tammy Faye's reputations were destroyed, and they ultimately ended up divorcing, although some of the public had a sympathetic view towards Tammy Faye, but not Jim. O.J. Simpson. The Juice, as many called him, rose to fame in the 1970s as a record-breaking NFL running back known for his speed, agility, and charisma both on and off the field. He became a major spokesperson for a wide range of products, most notably as the face of Hertz rental cars in the 1970s and 80s. Simpson also transitioned successfully into broadcasting and acting, becoming a beloved public figure and a symbol of American success. His image was that of a charming athlete who broke down barriers in pop culture and advertising. However, his world came crashing down in 1994 when he was accused of taking the lives of his ex-wife Nicole Brown Simpson and her friend Ron Goldman. The televised trial became a media sensation dubbed the Trial of the Century, dividing the nation and highlighting issues of race, celebrity, and justice. Though acquitted in criminal court, he was found liable in a civil trial, and Simpson's reputation was permanently tarnished. He fell even further from grace in 2007 when he published a book titled If I Did It, describing his hypothetical perspective of what might have happened the night of the tragedy, which many interpreted as a confession. A year after completing the book, Simpson was sentenced to 9 years in prison for an unrelated robbery in which he attempted to regain memorabilia he claimed belonged to him. The sentence was considered by many in the public to be poetic justice, since true justice hadn't been served in his original trial. Elizabeth Holmes. Elizabeth Holmes experienced an astonishing rise to fame and power as the founder and CEO of Theranos, a biotech company she founded in 2003 with the promise of revolutionizing blood testing in the healthcare industry. Holmes, a Stanford dropout, captivated investors and the media with her vision of a device that could quickly and cheaply conduct a range of medical tests using just a drop of blood. Her charisma and ambition earned her comparisons to tech moguls like Steve Jobs, as well as the trust of many customers eager for faster, cheaper, and less invasive way to receive medical results. By 2014, Holmes had built Theranos into a multi-billion-dollar company, making her one of the youngest self-made female billionaires. However, her fall from grace was as meteoric as it was swift. Investigative reports in 2015 revealed that Theranos technology didn't work as promised, and the company had been misleading investors, doctors, and patients about its capabilities. In 2021, Holmes was charged with fraud and went on trial for deceiving investors and endangering patients. The once celebrated entrepreneur was convicted on January 3, 2022 on 4 counts of fraud, and 10 months later she was sentenced to 11 years in federal prison, where she still resides. Diddy. Sean Diddy Combs, one of the wealthiest and most notorious hip-hop moguls, started his career as an intern at Uptown Records before founding Bad Boy Records in 1993. By signing artists like the Notorious B.I.G. and Mary J. Blige, Combs built an empire, with his '97 debut album No Way Out selling over 7 million copies. His Sean John clothing line, Ciroc vodka brand, reality TV ventures, and acting gigs in films and television made him a cultural icon and household name, topping Forbes' hip-hop rich list in 2014 and 17. By 2023, his net worth neared $1 billion. However, allegations of misconduct brought it all crashing down. A lawsuit filed by his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, accused him of abuse and trafficking, followed by the release of a 2016 hotel security camera video showing him causing her immense harm. By 2024, over 130 lawsuits, including claims of something that rhymes with drapes by both men and women, and a wide range of other crimes, some even involving minors, had emerged. Federal charges of trafficking and racketeering led to his arrest in September of 2024, and he's currently awaiting his May 2025 trial while in prison. Potentially facing life behind bars, Diddy's empire crumbled as business partners and celebrity friends have distanced themselves, and he's been relentlessly mocked, memed, and ridiculed for the details that surfaced regarding his lifestyle and behavior since the start of the controversy. Harvey Weinstein. A widely known name in Hollywood, Harvey Weinstein managed to become one of the most powerful and influential film producers of his generation. As a co-founder of Miramax Films, and later the Weinstein Company, he produced or distributed iconic films like Pulp Fiction, Shakespeare in Love, and The English Patient, which earned critical acclaim and numerous Oscars. Weinstein's reputation for shaping the modern film industry earned him significant power, making him a kingmaker with a massive level of control over Hollywood's elite. However, his rise was followed by a stunning fall from grace when in 2017, the New York Times and the New Yorker published bombshell investigations revealing decades of misconduct and crimes against women, including prominent actresses who came forward with allegations. The revelation sparked the hashtag #MeToo movement, leading to Weinstein's downfall and the exposure of other powerful individuals in the industry. In 2020, he was convicted and sentenced to 23 years in prison. In 2024, however, the conviction was overturned and the case was set to be retried. Britney Spears. The talented singer rose to epic levels of fame with unprecedented speed in the late 90s and early 2000s, becoming the pop princess of a generation. Her debut single, Baby One More Time, quickly became a global sensation, and her debut album shattered records. As an icon of youthful energy and talent, Spears captured the world's attention with her catchy music, infectious dance moves, and semi-wholesome image. Although that would end up changing, and as her fame skyrocketed, so did the pressure and the relentless media scrutiny, ultimately leading to her downward spiral. The public's obsession with her personal life, coupled with the weight of constant attention, led to a series of personal struggles. By the mid to late 2000s, Britney's once pristine image began to unravel. Her mental health struggles, multiple highly publicized breakdowns, a divorce from her husband Kevin Federline, and a bitter custody battle over their children all culminated in the infamous 2007 incident where she shaved her head, which was viewed by many as a public cry for help. The media sensationalized every move, painting her downfall as both tragic and inevitable. And these events led to Britney being placed under a controversial conservatorship, which controlled her finances and personal decisions for the next decade and a half. Her career slowed down and her public image never fully recovered, with bizarre Instagram clips and stories of her strange behavior still being shared and spread to this day. Bernie Madoff. His rise to prominence in the financial world was nothing short of extraordinary. A former chairman of the Nasdaq Stock Exchange, Madoff built his reputation as a trusted financier and founder of Bernard L. Madoff Investment Securities, a firm that promised consistent, high returns on investments. His firm's success and reputation for exclusivity attracted a roster of wealthy clients including celebrities, charities, and institutional investors. Madoff's firm became a symbol of financial acumen, and by the early 2000s, he was considered one of the most respected figures on Wall Street. His reported net worth was in the billions, and he was regularly sought after for advice on the global financial landscape. However, Madoff's meteoric rise was followed by a catastrophic fall. In 2008, as the global financial crisis unfolded, Madoff's Ponzi scheme, a massive fraud that involved paying returns to earlier investors using capital from newer ones, was exposed. It was revealed that Madoff had defrauded investors out of an astonishing $65 billion, and in 2009 he was sentenced to 150 years in prison for his role in the scheme. A once financial titan, Madoff's name became synonymous with deceit and betrayal, destroying not only his own life, but also the lives of thousands of investors who trusted him. Richard Nixon. The 37th U.S. president's legacy was defined by a combination of remarkable achievements as well as his dramatic fall from grace. He earned praise for his foreign policy, most notably his historic visit to China in 1972, which opened diplomatic relations and reshaped global geopolitics, as well as his efforts to ease Cold War tensions with the Soviet Union. His domestic environmental policies also gained him praise thanks to his creation of the Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA, and the signing of significant legislation like the Clean Air Act and the Endangered Species Act. In health policy, his administration expanded Medicaid and Medicare, further cementing his impact on social welfare. However, his accomplishments were ultimately overshadowed by the Watergate scandal, a political scandal involving a break-in at the Democratic National Committee headquarters and a subsequent cover-up. The scandal led to widespread public disillusionment, and in 1974, Nixon became the first U.S. president to resign, marking a tragic fall from grace. The Watergate scandal forever altered how he's remembered as an American historical figure, and the event was so infamous that the suffix "gate" has since been cemented in American culture as a way of describing a scandalous event. Bill Cosby. Bill's level of fame was nothing short of extraordinary. A comedian, actor, and producer, Cosby became a household name through his groundbreaking sitcom The Cosby Show in the 1980s. In the show, he portrayed Dr. Cliff Huxtable, a loving father and husband, which solidified his status as a role model and a symbol of success and family values in the eyes of millions, earning him the title America's Dad. The sitcom, along with his film roles, iconic stand-up routines, popular Jell-O ads, and his hosting gig on Kids Say the Darndest Things, all led to him becoming one of the most wholesome and beloved public figures of all time. However, his shocking fall from grace began in the mid-2000s when over 60 women accused him of horrendously inappropriate conduct, with allegations spanning several decades. In 2018, after a high-profile legal battle, Cosby was convicted of committing heinous acts on Andrea Constand, a former Temple University employee. The trial brought to light numerous other similar allegations, painting a grim portrait of a man once adored by millions. Cosby's fame, built on decades of admiration, collapsed epically as a result of the revelations. He was sentenced to 3 to 10 years in prison, but ultimately got released and had the conviction and sentence overturned by the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania, claiming his due process rights had been violated during the trial, and Cosby has since stayed out of the public eye. But that's it for this list, so subscribe if you liked it or check out another one, and if you could give it a like or share it, that'd be greatly appreciated, as would a positive response to any surveys you see in your feed. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time for more Everything Interesting Explained.